In this episode, we are going to be interviewing a professional comic book artist. We have Megan Hutchison. We're going to be talking about what it's like to be a professional working comic book artist. Megan, introduce yourself. Tell the audience what you do currently and like what projects are you working on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I draw comic books. I just finished a miniseries with Archie called Archie Judgment Day, where we kill everybody and turn them into demons. So that was fun. And I do a lot of work for more indie publishers like Image. I've worked for Boom, and I do a lot of cover work. So I get hired to do variant covers and do covers for runs of miniseries or new books that are coming out. So I've worked with DC. I've worked with pretty much everybody except for Marvel.
I've been meaning to ask you this since I've met you. When did Archie go dark, though? Like, I grew up, I'm 40. Archie used to be this bubbly, poppy, like, character, and now he's, like, goth. Like, when did that happen?
I think it was like 2016. They started doing Afterlife with Archie, which is an amazing series if anyone wants to read that. And then they started spinning off from that. They brought in like Cthulhu. They made Jughead a werewolf. They made Veronica a vampire slayer. So it was kind of to get into like the more horror genre of the industry. And they've been pretty much doing it ever since. So they have the regular Archie, which is the one that you bought. That's been around.
Yeah, she didn't
for
draw
80
this.
years.
I just found this in the grocery store with Kyla.
Yeah.
Kyla
I used
and
to read
went-
those too when I was
Yeah.
a kid. I would find them at the grocery store, and my best friend and I would read them.
So when did you get, did you design that character? Did you like make that character from the I guess the rebrand? Did you make Archie dark? Was that you?
No, I mean, so when I had to like do the character designs and stuff for the run that I did, I had to kind of keep on style with the characters that are in that book. My drawing style is very different from that, but the characters had to look like that. But the characters that we introduced, including his cousin, who is like a twin of him, I got to kind of design. And so I made him super goth.
Wow. I
Yeah.
kind of want to see this. Do you have a sample right now?
Yeah.
Is that easy to pull up?
Oh, man, I'd have to find it. You caught me off guard. I didn't do my homework.
What?
What? But yeah, I gave him
Here,
tattoos.
show that screen.
Which screen?
Show
Oh.
that camera. Let's see if we can do this. We'll pull this off.
Where did that come from?
Whoa. Okay. So here's some of Megan's art.
Oh, I have some.
And then we'll get into the gear
Shit in
stuff
here.
because it is a gear channel.
This one?
Yeah, that one's cool.
So Pops, who's in the comic, he runs the diner that they all hang out at. This is him in his monster form.
Can we see that? Oh, we probably
Can you
can't.
see that?
No.
Hold on.
Here, hold on. Go for it.
Whoa. Whoops. Hold on. He's a monster. So everyone in the book turns into some kind of demonic creature. Not to give anything away, but this is Betty and Veronica. So they turn into monsters.
Wow, that's Betty and
Or
Veronica.
demons, yeah.
Okay. I'll get screen grabs and put them
Yeah.
on there and compare everything.
I like putting horns on things.
So this is like a perfect, yeah, maybe do that. Thanks, Stu. What about that colored one? What's that red one look like?
Which one? That
It's
one?
like a red.
That's the cover.
Yeah, show us a nice cover, a finished cover.
This is the cover for issue 1.
Wow, that looks crazy. Here, move that forward.
Oh, okay.
Move your hand forward. There you go.
We have it at our house.
You have the comic?
Yeah, that looks cool. So hold on.
Yeah.
This went to that. Like,
But
you
they-
still carry the same vibe though. It feels like in the same family.
Oh,
Like, look at the colors. Like, it's still kind of like,
yeah.
yeah, it's really cool. Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you. I like
And so, while you have your gear out,
fluorescence. Yes.
do you just primarily just draw on the iPad with an Apple Pencil?
Yeah, most of my work is done that way. So I do pencils. So I'll do like roughs and pencils on the iPad, and then I will print them out, and then I ink by hand.
Oh, okay. So you do everything analog first.
No, I do everything digital first.
Oh, and then you print it out.
Then I print it out, and then I ink it, and then I scan it, and then
interesting.
I clean it up. And then if I'm coloring it, I'll color it in here or
How
on
do you
Photoshop.
scan it though?
On a scanner.
Okay. like just a regular scanner?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you draw it and then you print it. Mm-hmm. And then why do you have to bring it out into the real world though?
I like the looseness of inking by hand.
Interesting. Okay.
I do ink like digitally as well. Like I'm working on some tarot cards right now. I don't know actually if I'll show you some of them. But like this is all digital.
That's crazy. I actually had never seen your work, so this is all new to me.
This is digital because it has to be both really small and really big.
Yeah.
Like format wise.
How do you get the iPad so matted?
This is a cover I
Okay.
have on it.
Okay.
You can buy them anywhere on the internet. It's called Paperlight.
Okay. So so it starts off digitally.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go out into the real world, you ink in like at your desk,
Mm-hmm.
and then you bring it back in. Mm-hmm. And then that's where you finish? How's the coloring process?
I work with a colorist. So like he colored all of Archie, but then every once in a while I'll color my own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll either do it in here or I'll do it in Photoshop.
So why do some artists do that? Why do they have to outsource the color somewhere else? Is it just
I'm not good at it.
Oh, okay, I see. Interesting. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm working on it. I'm trying to.
Because that's a whole different world, basically.
Kind of. Yeah, it is. And like I don't come from fine art. A lot of people do. They went to art school. I come from graphic design. I have a graphic design background and film production. So it's not, I know color theory and all of that stuff, but I don't have that knowledge and that confidence. Mm-hmm. So I usually outsource my coloring. I do color some stuff myself, like that cover I just showed you. I colored that. I usually keep it very like basic and neon. But yeah, I mean, everyone's different too.
Yeah,
it's also a time thing.
Oh, okay. So you can keep just drawing your thing, and then I see. It's like a workflow thing.
Yeah. Usually when you're on a book that's monthly, you are not coloring it because it takes too much time.
So let's talk about that, since I have zero knowledge about the actual process from concept. Like, what's step one? Like, how does a project get started for people who want to get into this? Well, do you have a writer? Is there like a focus group? I don't even know. Like, how does it happen?
Focus.
Like, I don't know.
Comics might need a focus group, honestly. No.
Like, what's the first step? An email comes in and they're like, we have a project, and they bring everybody on board. Like, maybe walk me through how it works.
There's different processes. So with an existing IP, yes, you are usually like approached by an editor.
An IP is like a brand, a character, right? Okay.
Like a character, like Archie, or the Joker, or whatever. Like think of whatever superhero. So they'll bring on a writer and an artist for whatever run they want to do. Like, so usually the editors are like the producers, and they're the ones that like decide.
And when you say
project is.
run, that is like they commission you for a certain amount of time for like books or
issues.
number issues. Okay.
So
what's a typical run for an artist?
So runs are usually 5 issues long.
I see.
So those are going to be your story arcs, and so they might want you to work on just one arc. They might want you to work on 5 arcs. It might just be ongoing forever. It kind of depends on whatever the writer is kind of pitching, as far as like what they want to do with the character. Like the Archie thing was a mini series. It was only 3 issues. The last like long book that I did, which was with Vault, that was 10 issues. So that was two arcs that we did. So it kind of just depends project per project. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the editors will bring you on, and then you know, like they usually pair you up with a writer, and
So writer and artist, they find those two, and then they decide how many issues. Who's they, by the way? The publication?
editors.
Oh, the editors.
Yeah.
Got it.
So the editors work with, you know, like whoever the head of publication is, or the editor in chief is,
Got it.
and because then they know time wise what they want to put out, when they want to put it out, what their budget is, all of that stuff.
So that's mostly kind of set before they bring you guys on board. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and then they bring us on, and usually when you're working with an existing IP as an artist, you know, I had to do all the character designs. I had to go through all of that stuff with them, get it all approved, not just by the editors I was working with, but also with Archie Comics in general. And it's the same. It works the same when I do covers, especially covers for IP. Like I've done Power Rangers covers, so it's like
Cool.
that had to go through Saban.
Yes.
You know, and that was a lot.
So they had to get approval from the heads, like the
Yes.
studio heads or whatever,
Yeah.
whoever owns the IP. Right? And so when you have I guess like the design process, obviously you want to keep it into, I mean, you have a reference point to jump off of, right? How much of freedom do you have in the beginning? Is it just like, I'm going to go to town and they'll give your notes afterwards and then you do tweaks until you finally settle on a design?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah. And is that like a grueling process or is it like,
No, it's actually, that's the fun part.
yeah?
You know, the being able to kind of like have fun and play with the characters. And like, also, I mean, because of my background in production, I was an art director and a production designer for 15 years. So for me, it's like kind of like establishing what the world's going to look like and the tone and like how the entire book is going to feel.
Yeah.
And that's the really fun part for me, because it's like I get to make up all of this stuff until the editors are like, she can't have that many boobs. And then I'm like,
Well,
okay, fine.
How long do you have to do? Okay, is there a time frame? I'm like, okay, we're gonna give you 2 weeks to kind of design this thing, and then there's a deadline.
Yeah, they'll give you a schedule.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
and
you
then-
can kind of go in. So you can go into a couple rabbit holes, go here, and you have the freedom to kind of explore just weirdness and like wherever you want to go with it.
Yeah.
That's pretty
And
cool.
again, it depends project per project. You know, some places are, you know, like the big two are a little less lenient about those things. You know, and they want you to stay pretty on brand. Whereas, you know, like when you work, especially in the horror sphere, it's a hard word to say. They kind of let you do whatever you want.
Okay, cool.
'Cause that's kind of part of the genre, is like really pushing boundaries and like making it wild.
Yeah, and it's almost like on, you know, you're like right there with the sci-fi community where it's just anything kind of goes, right? Just weirdness. Those questions were Kyla's, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Those are very good questions.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but I do want to touch on one more thing, because
Yeah.
I get asked this a lot, because I do a lot of like comic book conventions and people come up and ask me like, oh, how do you break in and all that? So the other way that you get to do a book is that you team up with a writer and you put a pitch together. And I'm currently doing that right now. I'm working on three pitches. Makes my brain want to explode. But like, I'm working with a writer right now, doing like the concepts and putting like all of that stuff together. And then we're going to go to publishers with it and see like if they have room in their schedule for this, you know. And again, it depends on like if they're focusing on less adult stuff and want to do more kids stuff, like, because every publisher has like a different quota that they're trying to meet every year, or like whatever quarter they're in and all of that stuff.
In
But-
a sense of like books they sell.
Yes.
Got
Or
it.
like how many, like they always have like how many, they're going to do X amount of kids books, X amount of adult books, X amount
Gotcha.
of like crossovers, blah, blah, blah. Like they have their, you know, kind of like business plan laid out at the beginning of the year, and like per quarter what they're going to do, because they have so many books coming out a month.
I see.
But yeah, that's another way, because then those are usually creator owned. That's your own IP. You can kind of do whatever you want. And that's where you get like, you know, like the Image and the Boom books and stuff like that are like original.
Yeah, because basically it's your idea, so you probably have the rights to everything, and then you, as an artist or even as a business, you own all of it basically because you made it up.
Yeah.
Like, what's a popular character? I guess
Scott Pilgrim.
Venom or something.
Venom is
Yeah.
not. Venom is Marvel.
Is it Marvel? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Todd McFarlane.
got it. Okay, like I guess if the guy who made Deadpool.
Sorry, I just mansplained to you.
No, I don't care. I don't know anything here.
Rob Liefeld
I sound like
made
an
Deadpool.
idiot anyway. But he did. So Rob Liefeld owns Deadpool, right?
Yeah,
or he
that's
created Deadpool.
He did create Deadpool.
But Marvel, he create. So here's the question: if you create a character under a company, do you own that character?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
You don't.
But if you pitched everything yourself, how does that work? Like you basically.
It's different with the big two. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I can only speak to Marvel,
Ah.
but you are under contract with them. So when you work with them, everything that you create for them belongs to them.
Got it.
There are some writers that have created characters that they get points on for certain things.
Got
Usually
it.
not video games, and usually not toys. But if they appear in like a movie or something,
Sure.
you can get points on it.
And I'm assuming you also have like you make your own contracts too. Like if you wanted to
Yeah,
Like,
you can. So
own
most
the
of the
rights,
time,
the publication, like
so
toys and all that stuff. Like you probably, if it starts to hit, I'm sure you're gonna negotiate. Like, yo, this is my concept.
if you're doing your own
Yeah,
IP?
if you're doing your own thing.
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Most companies, so like if you are doing a book with Boom, they have a contract already in place, and it's usually like half and half, and you like usually the only half that they take is media rights.
Got it.
Everything
what are
else is
media
yours.
rights? Like if they make a movie.
If they make a movie or a TV show out of it.
So okay, so now I'm curious to kind of find out if you're okay with sharing like some of the numbers. Like how do you actually make money on this thing? Like how do you actually make money being a working artist?
That's a
Like,
good question.
Since you have so much kind of, it feels like a lot of freedom. We're a company as well. So if you ask me that question, I'd feel like, I don't know, we just kind of wing it every day too. So is that the same for you guys? Is it like kind of like feast or famine? Like
Yes.
just take whatever jobs come your way, and some is it seasonal? Because sometimes with media it's seasonal. Like during the winter, people slow down. Like I don't know how it is for comic book artists. How do you sustain a living?
It is seasonal. I mean, it's seasonal in a term. It's a gig work, and like I've been doing gig work pretty much my entire adult life, so I'm kind of used to it. But like you're on a project until you're not, and then you're looking for the next one, or like I'm right now. So the industry usually shuts down between like December and January. It's dead.
Yeah, it's the same kind of for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And it was the same when I, worked in Hollywood. It was the same thing. Like things didn't start picking up until like February.
After Super Bowl.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. So right now I'm nesting. That's why I'm sorry, microphone. That's why I'm working on these pitches right now. But I supplement my income by doing covers. And then another way, I sell original artwork a lot. I have an art rep. And another way that I make money, and a lot of artists make money, is we do comic conventions. So I go to these shows. I sell original work. I do commissions. I sell prints. I do signings. All of that stuff that kind of helps.
Do you do any sort of like subscription, like Patreon?
I have friends that do. Been kind of looking into that.
Yeah. You
It's
do like private, like, I don't know, masterminds or live streaming.
another
stuff like
thing.
that.
Yeah. So I mean, they do that. They do like where you can, the live where you can watch them draw. You can get sticker packs and exclusive prints and stuff like that. But another thing, I've been talking to Whatnot. Have you heard of Whatnot? It's a live art auction app, and you go on it and you basically you announce hey, at 5:00 today, I'm going to be drawing this character. Come and whatnot, and then people start bidding
Oh, that's
as you're
crazy.
drawing.
Interesting.
And I have a good friend. But he's a Marvel illustrator, so he draws like, all the superheroes and
Sure,
stuff.
yeah.
My art is very different from that.
Sure.
But he'll go on there and it like pays his mortgage.
Wow. Like once a month or like,
Yeah, he does it twice a month.
okay.
think.
So it's just like one big thing and people just bid. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. So it's like a live art auction.
Well, how much money can they make from there?
I mean, you can make thousands.
Wow.
Depends on the artist.
Yeah.
And what you're
It's,
drawing.
I guess it's based on your following, huh?
It's your
yeah.
following, but it's also like kind of like the quality of the drawing. Like you can sell a quick sketch for $100, but if you're doing like a cover quality drawing, you could sell that for thousands.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you mentioned something about the comic book conventions. How many of those do you do a year?
I usually do at least a dozen, if not
A
more.
dozen?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So you're traveling through, I'm assuming they're in different parts of the nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you set up for a couple days and you have a booth.
Yeah.
And you're basically selling all your art, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one way. And then like, where do you make the most money from? Obviously the job itself.
Shockingly not.
Really?
Well, cover work
Wow.
pays the best for the time that it's invested. Interior work
What do they
pays
pay
the
for a
least.
cover?
Well, it depends on the person.
Yeah. For
you
that
know.
cover, what do you the one you showed us earlier?
The Archie one?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't remember.
5,000?
No.
No?
My rate is anywhere between $850 to $1,000.
Okay.
My friends that have been in the industry for 20 plus years, their rate is, like $1,000 or $2,000.
Okay.
And then it can go up from there. Like I have friends that paint their own covers. So you have like a full piece of artwork. Those go, for much more. So
Yeah,
it kind
yeah.
of depends. But
And so you said in the publication you don't really make the most money. What does that usually cost? Give me a range of
like page rate?
yeah.
Page rates,
Is that how they pay you per page?
yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But it comes down to there's 20 pages in an issue. So it kind of comes down to that. But people's page rate kind of varies. In the indie world, it's around 150 to 250
Got it.
per page.
Got it. Cool.
So, but when you break that down, that's not a lot of money.
Yeah. After taxes.
Yeah. But
Wow, that's crazy.
But what we make the most money on is that, and a lot of the reason why a lot of artists are still traditional is that you sell everything afterwards. So my covers, like I get paid for my cover work, but then I can sell the cover at a convention. Like I just pre-sold 2 covers that I just did.
Okay.
So that covers.
Yeah, because I can't imagine you're holding on to
expenses.
all this stuff, right?
No.
Yeah.
Get it out.
You're trying to sell it out, sell it too.
But
This is
covers sell
interesting.
really well. So original artwork is really where you make a lot of money. So usually at shows, it's like I'll make pretty decent money, but what will be really nice, I will double my money if I sell like a cover.
Wow.
Even an interior page, because I can sell an interior page, like a splash page for like $400.
Wow. Do you make money off social media at all?
I get like commissions off social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like work, like inquiries and all that stuff?
Yeah.
How do you actually find the work? Like, is it one of those things that you've just built enough of reputation in the industry that they're just coming to you, or do you have to audition for this stuff?
And when I started out, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of like any industry, right?
Yeah.
Like, you do have to like audition.
Yep.
They have to
yep.
see your work.
But for you specifically, how many years have you been in it now?
I've been doing this full time for almost 7 years.
Wow.
So I'm still fairly new to it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's still pretty good. I mean, you have thousands of hours now of reps. So do people just now come to you, or are you still going knocking on doors and going, hey, I need work?
Both.
Like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
What's the percentage of that? Is it 50-50? Is it like...
No, I mean, I have more people coming to me probably,
Yeah.
but I should be better about knocking on people's doors.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow.
But that's the other thing about being an artist. Like, we're all like weird introverts that are like,
For sure.
I'm sorry, like,
Yeah,
excuse
because
me,
marketing's
I
a
wanna
whole
draw
different
things."
hat. You know what I mean? So, like, marketing...
That's
plus
why I
you're-
have Stuart.
He's not doing anything right now. He's not pulling his phone out to
he's
market
my-
to you.
Yeah, I know.
He's not doing behind the scenes.
He's my he's my rep. He's my manager.
So do you guys? So do you have agents? Do you have managers? Do some artists kind of represent themselves? Like,
So everyone's different, but
Yeah.
a big thing that is with like both with artists and with illustrator or with writers is that there are reps. So I have an art rep. I'm with Kinetic, and so they rep me and a couple of different artists and a couple of writers, and so they book us into shows. If we need any like legal advice, they can get us in touch with, like if we're like negotiating, what do you call it? Contracts,
Yep.
stuff like that. They'll get us a lawyer to read over our contracts. And then he mostly handles like the fine art part of things. So he like sells my art, books me on shows mostly. And most artists have that are like full-time working artists in the industry.
I have two more questions for you. Okay,
Let's go.
One of them is like sort of work habits, routine. You put yourself on a schedule. Like, what is the actual work behind? She's laughing. What is the actual?
Don't give me that
what
face.
actual work is behind? Like, what is the schedule and the work and the routines and the habits? Like, are you just like winging it this whole time, or do you have?
Yes.
So,
No,
so I guess
okay.
that answers my question. There is none.
I can't lie because Stuart's in the room. So this is going to make it hard. No, it's
Oh, how about this? You wait till the last
Existential
minute
dread.
to make a deadline happen?
yeah. I mean, I feel like most artists do though. It's mostly
Well, not me. Usually I'm like, let me get it done as fast as I can and go.
Yeah.
Like, but most artists are right. They're very like, they'll go down rabbit holes. They'll procrastinate. They'll wait. And then deadlines 3 days from now. Oh shit, I got to make it happen.
Yeah.
I do that too, just cause I'm lazy sometimes, but like, I feel you. Like, so there's no routine for you.
No, there is
Yeah.
there is a routine.
Do you
There
like,
is.
is there practice
Don't-
routine?
Don't look at me like that. There is a routine. I do have routines. For the past couple years, it's been like staying up super, super late and getting drunk and finishing things, which I'm trying not to do now. So the routine's been changing, but I'm getting better about it. But I've also kind of allowed myself to figure out what works for me now as opposed to what did work for me, just because so much of my life is changing.
Yeah.
And like kind of being able to give myself space to see what that looks like. I do need to, and this is every artist, that like you kind of come up against this like existential dread all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So actually like sitting down and like painting is like,
Sure. Yeah.
like,
it becomes
it becomes a whole thing.
it becomes a chore for sure.
Yeah, and it's weird too because it's like I am never happier than when I'm drawing. But when it becomes the means of you existing like day to day, it takes on a completely different thing. And then you start getting imposter syndrome.
Sure. Yeah.
And you're on Instagram, you're like, oh, everyone's better than I am. Cool. Why am I even trying? So you have to get through all of that. And then hence the drinking.
Sure.
And then you sit down and then you start working. And once I'm in the flow and you cannot stop me. And then I'm like, the house can be on fire and I wouldn't notice. But again, everyone's different. I have a very good friend in Austin. He and I would go out to lunch every week. And he's also a comic book artist, and we would just bitch about how hard it is to just actually sit down and do it. But I also know artists that are just like, they get up, they do their stretches, and they're just like, boop, do, and just sitting down. And it's like, ew, why are you normal? That's so gross. Stop it.
Well, you're probably a true artist because like most true artists are tortured, Most real artists are tortured.
Yeah, mental, illness. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for.
Okay, so
We're all on medication.
I get
it's
it.
cool.
No,
I'm
I
a
get
big
it. I was there.
advocate
I know.
of SSRIs. Big advocate. This is why I'm sitting here today.
So if you're still here listening to the podcast, What last words? What advice would you give to somebody who is maybe just starting out as a comic book artist? Maybe they're learning about maybe jumping into the industry. Maybe they're just interested in, just doing this as a side hustle. Like, what advice would you give? Maybe like do's and don'ts that you've learned. 2 things.
So if you really want to get into it, you just have to do it. I don't know a single person. I mean, there are a lot of people in the industry that are working in the industry that are not good at their job, but they love it and they're there and they show up every day. But that's true again with like any industry, especially any creative industry. And that's the thing, like transitioning into doing comics full time as opposed to doing production full time. It wasn't that different. Like all of this, it's all the same patterns and stuff. If you show up, I can tell you how many producers I worked with in production, like big TV shows and stuff where I'm like, you, sir, need to be drowned in the ocean. Like you don't know your ass from your elbow. So if you have the drive, if you have this passion, if you just keep doing it, you're going to make it, you have to have the tenacity. And I think too, in that sense, why I stayed away for it for so long, because this is something I wanted to do since I was a kid, is because I didn't, I let myself get in my own way. I didn't think I was good enough, and I didn't, I didn't think I was worthy of it. And I think that the advice I would give to my younger self is like, fuck them.
Sure.
If this is something that you want to do it. Because honestly, if you want to draw comic books for a living, or even be like a professional artist for a living, if you are that like crazy enough to want that to be your dream, just do it. Because like it is very hard. It's a very lonely profession, but it's the most fulfilling thing in the world, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So if you really have that in your heart, just like balls to the wall,
Wow. I don't think I can add anything else to that other than where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram at blackmem_art. I'm not on Twitter because fuck Twitter. And are we allowed to swear on this?
I don't care.
Okay. Fuck Elon Musk.
I don't know about monetization, but we'll see.
Oh, sorry. I'm not super into fascism. And so I'm not on, but I am on, what else? I'm on Blue Sky now. Black Empire, Pyre.
Okay. We'll put Megan's links in the description.
Yeah.
But thank you, Megan. This was awesome.
Thank
This was
you.
fun. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And scene.